Hello, welcome to Gloria's Gab Live. I'm very excited today because I have Dr. Roselyn Smith with me. She is chair of the Florida Her History Women's Empowerment Group, and they're doing some fabulous stuff. And I'm so happy to have you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me
Well,
today.
you're welcome. Yes, you're welcome. Well, we're both vaccinated, so we can do
Yes.
that. And before we start, I want to thank our show sponsor, Baraha Medical Institute, a Quigley eye specialist company. They're fabulous. They're at 2550 Douglas Road. Such a beautiful facility, and they do everything from eye surgeries, LASIKs, cataracts, eye lifts. They even have a plastic surgeon. They do fillers. You know, it's like a one-stop shop, and it's such a beautiful. I was telling Roselyn, it takes a little roundabout way to get there now because of some construction going on, but once you get in there, it's beautiful. So I recommend it highly. Now, Roselyn, let's talk about what you have planned for October. And it's something very, very timely right now because so many people are going to be going back into the workforce, and young people too that going to need what you're going to provide. So tell us about it.
Thank you so much for having me here today. And it's my pleasure to be able to share with you that my committee and I, we're all volunteers, by the way. We're not employees of anything. We have volunteered with the herstory Women's Empowerment Global Organization. And now we've localized it to Florida to help women empower by getting back to work. And so October 23rd at the Coral Gables Women's Club, as you know, that's where we'll be having it. In the morning, we'll be having a short conference or seminar, if you want to call it that, where we will have experts speaking to the women attendees who will share with them how best to write their resumes, fill out applications, create profiles on social media, etc., in order to have empowerment as they are looking for work, and also how to go through interviews, etc. So that will be in the morning, and then in the afternoon we will have a women's job fair for employers around Florida that are looking to hire women.
You know, I'm so happy you're doing this because it's unusual. After the pandemic, we have people that haven't worked in a while. We have people who maybe have lost a breadwinner, and maybe they haven't worked in years, and they have to get back. So your ability to do this, and by the way, she's an amazing counselor. She does corporate training. This woman has a background you can't believe.
Well, thank you.
So to have you be in charge of this is even more important because you know how to do it. And so who do you envision coming to this? I mean, I can envision people all ages coming.
All ages, absolutely. And I guess people who will be interested will be those who maybe are interested in applying for jobs with the employers that will be there in the afternoon. But you don't have to necessarily want to work for the people who will be, or the organizations, businesses, etc., that will be at the job fair in order to still get the training of how best to do all of those things that I just mentioned. And yes, women of all ages. Yeah. We're not just looking for a particular kind. We are doing this, by the way, because we know it is statistical nationwide, but especially in Florida, that women have lost more jobs due to COVID than men. Not that we don't care about men, we care about them too. But this is a women's empowerment organization, and that's why we are making it a women's job fair.
Well, and so many women seem to be the ones that were staying at home teaching their children when they couldn't take them. And of course, not being able to take them to a daycare, that kind of stuff. And fortunately, you know, Florida has done a little better than a lot of other states, but they're in that situation where maybe they even lost their job because their business is no longer viable. So
possibly, yes.
Yeah. So tell me about, if I'm an employer and I want to participate in this, how do I go about it? And are there any particular kind of businesses that you're looking for?
We, first of all, are sending out invitations to the 20 largest businesses in South Florida, but we're not limiting it to just large businesses or other 20 largest employers, I should say, in South Florida. Most of them are businesses, others a couple of colleges, et cetera. But we're not just looking for large employers. Any employer who is interested is welcome to reach out to us at through our email. I want to make sure that I say it exactly right for you.
You can look for it in my column because I'll definitely write about it.
Okay, it's info@herstory.southflorida.com. So info@herstory.southflorida.com. Or you can reach out to me directly through either way. The emails will come to me first. You can use my email address, drsmith, Dr. Smith, at RoselynSmithPhD.com. If you are interested. And also, I will be posting on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, the Eventbrite link for businesses and attendees to use in order to sign up. And the fees for attendees will be only $12 just to help cover the cost of the lunch that will be provided to them.
Nice.
The fees for employers that are interested will be only $350 to $450 to have the tables, chairs, access to lunch, etc. They're set up for them and ready to go for the entire 5 hours in the afternoon.
Oh, that's super affordable. And I know, are you reaching out to associations like the Florida Restaurant Association kind of thing? That because the hospitality industry has been critically hurt by this. So I would think that maybe hotels, restaurants that are large enough to demand a lot of people. I don't know. I see every time I turn around, everybody's now hiring. So I know a lot of those jobs demand a certain amount of training. So they want to make sure they have qualified people. So again, maybe that resume thing that you're talking about, that's so important to be able to do a good one. So tell me, how did you get into this?
Well, thank you for asking the question. I was responding to requests for interviews on, it's a blog that goes out daily. You may be familiar with it, called helpareporterout.com or haro.com. And so I had been advised by someone that if I wanted to keep doing more interviews about my psychological practice, the expertise I have, the honors I've been given as a result of it, that I should sign up for Haro to be to receive it, so that as reporters post, or we're looking for a psychologist for this, to address this, to address that. So I did that, and on my website there are links to many of the interviews that took place where I was interviewed for various aspects of my experience, and a couple of other things as well. And then let me see, it was in December of 2018, I believe, I saw on it a post by a Huffington Post blogger, a woman named Gertrude Matshi, who is from Zimbabwe originally, but lives in New Zealand. And she was looking for women who were willing to share their life stories about things they had overcome, or how they have made the impossible possible. So she was getting, at the time I didn't know it. I thought it might just go on Huffington Post blog. But she was looking for women to share those things, so that by sharing that with other women, it would help empower other women to say, oh, if she overcame that, then I could do this way. So I called, I emailed her first in response to it. And then she called and let me know that she would like emailed me back and let me know she'd like to call me on Zoom so we could meet so I could share. Yeah, so we met on Zoom in December of 2018. later in the month. And I shared with her my life story about growing up in a small, small town up in the mountains of northeastern Oregon, where when I was a little girl and growing up there, females weren't expected really to do much more than finish high school, maybe marry a logger or a farmer, maybe go to college.
Came a long way.
Well, and that's what I shared, but I mean, it wasn't like they didn't encourage girls to go forward and do the best they could, but still, it just didn't happen that much back then.
Yeah.
But through a series of incredible, miraculous, even life events that happened, and mistakes I made, too, but I overcome them and take the next step forward and feel the confidence to take the next step forward. And as I did that, more doors kept opening, one after the other. So I shared my life story with her, and how ultimately it led to, eventually being recognized internationally as a psychologist who specializes in, among other things, emergency care, psychological first aid, assisting people in the immediate wake of a crisis of some kind, emergency intervention.
Right.
I've been, as you know, I've been recognized by both Fulbright and the Rockefeller Resilient Fund for doing that.
Didn't you get some? What was it? It was an honorary society that you were member of the year or something when you graduated. What was that? I saw it in your resume. It was like something pie, something pie, and you were graduate of the year or some crazy thing. I don't know.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
I don't either, but hold on. Let's see if I got it. No.
Okay.
Well, okay.
The year I graduated from my
hold on. Wait a minute.
With my doctorate?
Yeah, I'm sure. Where the heck did I do with it? Oh, well. I'll figure it out. Oh, Phi Lambda Pi Annual Female Graduate Student of the Year Award.
Yes. I was.
Okay, see, she forgot because she's gotten so many awards.
Well, I wasn't.
Who can remember them all?
And I didn't realize that's what you were referring to.
Yeah,
yes, Phi Lambda Pi sorority / fraternity at University of Miami.
Yeah,
recognized me as the annual female graduate student of the year.
So we go way back into our 20s, I believe. We were both young.
Yeah.
I was with Junior Orange Bowl, and you were with a corporation that helped me out with the Junior Orange Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's before I went back and got my doctorate. What brought me to Miami from the West Coast, at the time Southern California, was I was the vice president of marketing and corporate development for the first franchisee of the Super Shuttle system.
Exactly.
And we opened the Super Shuttle company in San Diego and then bought the Super Shuttle company in Miami from the parent company. And that's what brought me to Miami.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And then for years and years, Super Shuttle was like the shuttle for Junior Orange Bowl that took everybody from the mayor's reception to the parade.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So, and then we just became friends, and life happened, and you went back to school, and I was so proud of her.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
You.
Yeah, right.
Well, and I've always been very proud to know you and proud of what you have done for the organizations I've known you in, Junior Orange Bowl, Coral Gables Rotary, Community News, and all you've done and the way you've done things. Incredible.
That's sweet. Yeah. So, so now, after you do this conference, do you plan on doing subsequent things, or is this going to be like an annual thing, do you think?
We haven't decided that yet. It started out as, when Gertrude asked me if I would chair the Global Empowerment Committee in the Florida area, and I agreed to do so. We were going to have a speakers conference like she's doing virtually now, but locally we were going to do that. And actually, I was one of her speakers at her first
at her virtual
event.
one?
No, well, there too,
live.
but at the first live event out in Las Vegas before COVID, a year before COVID kicked in. And so it was going to be similar, where we would have, women who wanted to share their empowerment stories and
Right.
maybe launch memoirs that they're publishing or other things. And Gertrude helps people do that too. And she also trains people for TED Talks. So there were a number of things that we were going to be doing live then, and then COVID kicked in, and so the live event that we had scheduled at the Women's Club last year became a virtual event. It got canceled.
Canceled art because
yeah,
we couldn't run out our clubhouse.
It
was a struggle for everyone. Yeah,
it was. But Gertrude launched a global summit series of women's empowerment conferences where women shared their making the impossible possible experiences in life and overcoming certain things. And so she had me chair the one on December 12th that was primarily, well, there were speakers from South Florida, but there were speakers from all over the world that zoomed in for it.
Right.
So that happened last year. And then this year, since we're reopening and we want to help our local women get back to work, well, we're willing to help women all over the world get back to work. It's just the employers will be from here in Florida.
When you do this conference, at least for the first part of it, are you going to be able to like make it virtual so that people from other parts of the country can zoom in on it? Or had you thought about that?
We haven't known yet how to do that at the Coral Gables Women's Club. What's required in order to be able to hook up to do that?
I know we've had Zoom meetings.
Okay.
I don't know how it works if you're trying to collect money or get people to pay at least for whatever it costs you to make it happen. But certainly we can investigate that.
That would be very helpful. Yes.
That would be really interesting to be able to get some, at least from chats and some questions, maybe from people outside of Florida who are maybe dealing with
the same
worse
thing,
or maybe a worse scenario.
Yeah.
Maybe they're still on, pretty much lockdown.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a friend up in Canada, and they're pretty much on lockdown. They don't. Grocery stores aren't. They're curbside everything. So people around the world are still suffering a lot more than we are. We are so fortunate, and especially in our office, we're lucky. Everybody has both shots. I think. Okay, do you have both shots?
I'm waiting on my
Howard. Howard's our producer. Thank you, Howard, for helping us today. You have one, so you're halfway there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting on the second.
Yeah, that's great.
Good.
But we've been very fortunate that we've been able to have that. But it's so nice, isn't it?
It is, yes, and it's the more people who get it, the more effective it is. So please, everyone, get your shots.
Get your shots,
as soon as possible. And so to answer the rest of your question, I
sorry.
don't know if we will go forward year after year with this. But I appreciate, and since you are on the board of Coral Gables Women's Club, and also Chairwoman Ruth is helping, she's attending our Zoom, our president, well, Ruth is attending our Zoom meetings now. If you guys can help us figure out how we could Zoom the meetings out there or YouTube it or something, that would be
we can do
great.
that. And then in the future, that could be something that they take on as an event that, you need to join our club.
Well, quite possibly.
Then there you go. And then you can just tackle it.
Well, and I want to thank the Coral Gables Women's Club for not only renting the space to us, but now collaborating with us to do this. Right. And also the Miami-Dade Women's Fund is.
Oh, that's great.
The Coral Gables, the Miami Women's Chamber of Commerce, member of their board has indicated that they are interested in participating. And so also...
you know who else? The Miami Women's Club. They're awesome.
Well, let's reach out to them now.
Shirley Pardon. She was a guest on my show not too long ago.
Okay, well,
she's terrific.
Any women's organization that's interested in participating with this is more than welcome to.
Well, ultimately, I think it might be a General Federation of Women's Clubs district. We could get, but there's all kind of potential for the future. So
absolutely,
when you've got women that are wanting to help other women, actually to help community, but women are have, like you said, have been most affected by COVID. So it's nice at least to get this first one out of the way, and then we can talk about what we can do in the future.
What knowing that to be done going forward.
We have you.
Well, thank you. Well, and also Junior League, we would like to include you.
Oh yeah,
And
sure.
any women's organizations, again, that are interested in helping to empower women and get women, and this year through helping to get women back to work, please reach out and contact us.
And employers.
And employers also more than welcome to reach out.
We need those people looking for good workers.
And yes, and thank you for your suggestion about the hospitality industry. I think that's a good idea.
That's a great one.
Yes, especially
people are paying bonuses now.
Excellent. Okay.
I saw one employer paying $1,000 bonus. Another restaurant chain doing a $500 bonus. I'm going, oh my God, these people are desperate. And I was talking to somebody else, and I was somebody that had a hamburger kind of place, and he was doing burgers and he was doing hamburgers, and somebody drove up, and he says it's going to take a while. He was the only person in the place. So get out there and work, guys. Get off of unemployment.
Come see us. Yeah. Reach out.
I know it's hard, but yeah, it's better to be working, right? Yeah.
Yes, in many ways.
But also,
it pays off
as a psychologist, you know that just for your ego, for yourself, your self-worth, working is so important. And so what's your take on it? People that are working and people that are not working, the people that are working have a sense of accomplishment every day,
but also stay-at-home parents do, also stay-at-home moms,
often
absolutely feel very good. So I wouldn't degrade
I was
that.
A stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, there you go.
I worked harder. Mm-hmm. In fact, I used to feel sorry when the kids were little. I used to feel sorry for my before I had stay-at-home kids. Before I had kids, I always thought, oh, these poor people that have to go to work and drop their kids off. How sad, that they don't get to be with their babies. And then I was that stay-at-home mom with the little ones, and I'm going, oh my God, I wish I could go to work.
There you go.
Not that I didn't love my kids, but it was like, could I just have a half a day with some adults?
Yeah.
Right.
I understand.
So that I don't diminish the work of stay-at-home moms, but I'm saying if you don't have anybody at home and you don't have anything to do during the day, if it were me, I would be doing volunteer work and I wouldn't get it paid for it. But if in fact you need to get paid for it, come to the job fair.
One step at a time, possibly.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't mean you'll necessarily launch into the highest job initially, but one step at a time, you can get there. Well, life happens.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, and think about the people that have started as dishwashers and became the owner of a restaurant.
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah.
My own mama. Thank you, Mama Angel, up there now.
Yeah.
I was her and my father's youngest child, and she was stay-at-home mom until I turned, 12 or 13. And then she got a job doing sort of writing a few articles here and there for the weekly newspaper in the little town where I grew up out in Oregon.
Oh, that was funny. Then, I didn't know that about your mom.
Yes,
and I just read about that.
She did, yes. And then from there, she went on eventually to be the editor and publisher of the newspaper, and also had her own radio show. And but it started again, one step at a time. And she became a city councilwoman. And
oh my gosh,
just some incredible things.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrific. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I had just read that about. And then do you know that the person who started the General Federation of Women's Clubs was a journalist?
No, I did not know that.
Crowley, she was working for a newspaper. She went to a media event and it was a gentleman's club and she wasn't allowed in. And she said, oh, this can't happen. And she started getting people together and she formed a cirrhosis, group. And then finally they started popping up all over women's clubs, and she got them all together. Excellent. And she formed this it's now an international women's club. Yeah. But she was a journalist too. So
there you go.
Yeah. So
excellent.
Let's hear it for journalists.
Yes. All right. Well, and just everyone remember, empowerment doesn't always happen with the flip of a switch, one step at a time.
Absolutely.
But every step is empowering. even if it feels like it's a defeat of some kind, well, then we have something to learn from that and a way to empower ourselves to make the impossible possible and overcome it.
And you know, one of the things I love about working for nonprofits, and over the years I've developed a lot, and not because of schooling, but more from working for nonprofits and being thrown into positions where you had no clue what you were doing, and you learned the hard way. But if you made a mistake, nobody could fire you because, hey, you're a volunteer. So I recommend everybody be involved in a nonprofit, because you'll be doing things you never thought you would do, and you develop leadership that way.
And it still counts as credentials for you that you have the experience of doing this or that or whatever, even if it's as a volunteer.
Exactly.
Still counts.
I'm even when I talk to clients, I always get people involved in nonprofit work, because I said this is the best thing you can do for you, even for your team. If you have any kind of team, a marketing team, whatever, get them involved in nonprofit work, because that's how they're going to improve how they do things, how they connect, and their sphere of influence too.
Yeah.
So anyway, our time is up, I think. Again, Dr. Roselyn Smith, thank you so much for coming today. I'm really looking forward to this event on October 23rd at the Coral Gables Women's Club. And please sign up. What was just give us your email address if you're interested.
Yes. Dr. Smith at RoselynSmithPhD.com. And then just to make sure I get it right, info at HerstorySouthFlorida.com. INFO at HERSTORY SouthFlorida.com.
Okay. Oh, and it was on the screen too.
Oh, good.
So you didn't have to do it. I didn't realize what you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Anyway, so Baraha Medical Institute, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
A company of Quigley Eye Specialists. Thank you again for sponsoring today's show.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming. And until next week, be kind, stay safe, and be good to one another.
And thank you for having me. Thank you so much for letting me share about Florida Her Story Women's Empowerment Group. You're all welcome to participate.